Good morning.
Good morning.
Happy Tuesday.
Tuesday. It is Tuesday.
It's Tuesday. Welcome to Daily Dose. Oh my gosh, I'm hoping that we have better technology luck for this session than we did the one that I just did for the Arts Partnership, where it was basically a complete freeze for 15 minutes with my guests on the other side. So we'll hope for the best and just go from there. So we didn't really hear from you yesterday specifically, but I'm really curious to know if you were along for the story about the little mule named Belle. How many of you either remembered, because you were alive when Dr. King was assassinated, or knew the story of the fact that his coffin was carried through the streets of Atlanta by two mules? Because I kind of can't shake that beautiful little story. And what I keep thinking about is just the idea of how much history people who are in power decide doesn't matter. Just lost to time unless someone takes the opportunity to bring it to light, which those authors did. And I'm so grateful for that. So just thinking about that. This might be a pretty heavy book week, actually. Today.
It's Tuesday.
It's going to be a long week for me. Today we're talking about this book, 5 Wishes, by a man named Hendricks, who some of you may know of. I had not heard of him. He, let's see, he wrote a book. I don't know any of these books. I think he's somewhat famous, but I don't know who he is. I just picked it up because I liked the cover, which is often how I come to a book. Oh, there goes my nose because the sun is coming out. Well, what can we do? So this book is tiny and asks a pretty simple question. If you are on your deathbed, so shoot way into the future, and you're dying, and you still have your mental facilities with you, if someone were to say to you, was your life a complete success, what would you say? So I gave you the opportunity to think about bringing pencil, pen, and paper to this conversation, because we'll give you a few minutes to write things down if you would like while we talk about them. But was your life a complete success? So Dr. Mary,
Yes, ma'am.
we did this a little bit earlier this weekend, although we didn't actually finish the conversation. We got a little bit sidetracked. Whoa! Good golly. I think we got to move. That's terrible.
No, just keep going.
Okay.
There you go.
Was your life a complete success? So what's your answer to that?
No.
Okay. So then, if it wasn't, then you are asked to write down 5 different things that fill in this sentence. My life was not a complete success because I didn't fill in the blank. So, do you have anything you want to share?
Did you write down mine?
Yeah, but I don't think I have them down here, which doesn't make any sense. It's because I got caught up in my other conversation. Do you remember what you said?
Well, the main one was I wish I'd listened to my inner voice more, and one of them was to get sober earlier.
So,
Because I think with hindsight, what kept me from not doing that was purely me.
oh, now that's interesting to me, because you so often talk about the fact that once it became a disease, you really couldn't control it.
Well, but it was not wanting to ask, which is also part of one of the symptoms. A symptom, because everyone who's asked this says the same thing. They are afraid.
Yeah. Let's focus on this inner voice one, because you know what? That's kind of a thing for me as well, for different reasons, I think. So my life wasn't a complete success because I didn't listen to my inner voice. And then 4 others. So take a minute and write those down while we talk a little bit, or at least write the sentence down so that you can look at it later and fill it in. One of the things that the book really encourages you to do is to not think about it, but to actually just do it right now. I am so distracted by the fact that I look skeletal. I cannot stand it. That's skeletal for you,
Thank
Dr.
you.
Mary.
I got you.
Okay. Second question is, make sure, well, I'm sorry. I am so distracted. I am really sorry. This is bad. The technology's bad. Lots of things are not working in my favor. Really sorry. You want to make sure that the first of the 5 is the most important to you, and then you can rank them down. So they can be seemingly insignificant things. You could say things like, my life was not a complete success because I didn't eat enough dessert. And Riley, I think you and I might both agree that we did not eat enough dessert. And I'll just speak for myself. I've had my fair share of dessert. Why wouldn't we eat more? Life is a gift. Why wouldn't we celebrate it with more dessert?
Congenital heart disease.
Well, within reason. So, here goes the technology for this round. So
Well,
then,
I did also say, I think one of
oh
my other
good,
ones.
please fill in.
One of my other ones was I have this stellar group of friends that I
Oh,
keep,
I loved this.
and I regret that when I meet new people, I don't follow through with a new friendship, and I don't know why. I regret doing that,
You know, there's.
or I let some friendships slide for some reason. A great example is a couple of guys I knew from John Ennis, Geordie.
Where you did your PhD.
You know, I did my PhD, Geordie Chan and Grant Calder. You know, we were all the same age, so and we were really close. And when I moved to Glasgow, you know, we'd phone each other once a week, the 3 of us, and just, you know, it was almost like a party line. It was fun. But then I moved to North Dakota, and it kind of just
And it killed the fun.
it kind of fizzled out. You know, we never. You know, the first time I went home for Easter that year. This was actually before I met you, and I
Yep.
went to Norwich and we caught up. But that was the last time I saw them.
Yeah, so that was 20 plus years ago. You know, there's a ton of research talking about how difficult it is for adults to make friendship and for men in particular to have friendship. We have a lot more structure in place for women to become friends. Men become friends kind of over beer and sports, and you don't care about American sports and you don't drink beer.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting challenge.
So there you go. The loneliness of a long distance runner, right here.
Yes. So, the main reason my life was not a total success is because I didn't. Okay. Then you change it from that to, for my life to have been a total success, I wish I'd, and you just change the tense. So if it was, my life wasn't a complete success because I didn't keep up with some important people in my life. Then you'd shift it to, for my life to have been a total success, I wish I'd kept up with some important people in my life. And you do that with each of them. That becomes the wish. And then the wish becomes the goal when you say, I gotta get to it because my computer failed me as well. If this is your first day at Daily Dose, I promise it's almost always better than this.
If you actually were born in the early 90s, this is a book.
Oh, stop it right now. Then you take it and you turn it into the here and now, and you say, my life is a complete success because I'm now keeping up with old friends and developing new relationships. So it goes from regret and things that are past and done to past tense because you didn't do it to present tense because you are doing it. So the beautiful thing about this assignment is just that if you shoot forward, let's say 50 years, you have 50 years from that future, from today to that future, to change what you think you might regret if you don't do it. So it's future shifting, future planning, as opposed to simply saying, yep, I couldn't do it.
Yeah, instead of just sitting there feeling, well, ultimately feeling sorry for yourself, I guess.
Yeah, there's something really lovely about going forward and recognizing that now is the past of your future, so you can change it. Feels a little bit like we've moved into Back to the Future 3, which you know is super complex because it goes forward and backwards from the present. But I think there is there's something really, really lovely about that. And again, it can be everything from eat more dessert, and maybe dessert is fresh fruit, Dr. Mary. Maybe it's all healthy. And ice cream, but whatever.
Yeah, okay.
But it can be anything from something small like that to I wish I had been more committed in my marital relationship. I wish I had pursued my dreams. I wish I had gotten sober faster. There's fabulous ways to imagine how you'll feel at the end, and then try to reverse that as an inevitability starting today. I really think that's powerful.
That is interesting. It is. It's a good. I think it's a good. It's a good technique to, like I said, not to make you wallow in what you have now. There's always a future, and you can build from it.
Well,
from the
until
past.
there isn't.
Yeah. Well,
And but the point is, eventually you do run out of the opportunity to change. So use today as the place that you start to make the change that you don't want to regret at the end. Does that make sense?
Yes.
I'm going to pretend that you're all nodding, all of you who I can see watching. I just think that's something great. So, if I think about the first half of my life, let's assume I live to 100. I'm almost halfway there. If I think about the first half, much of my first half has been spent regretting that I didn't become a movie star. Well, okay, I don't want to spend the next 52 years also with that as a regret. I've sort of set that one down, but I have this other thing, this personal systems disruption work. I don't want to get to 100 and think, oh, I wish I had pursued that harder. No, that's why I'm pursuing it so hard right now. So that at least if it doesn't happen, which it will, but if it doesn't, it won't be because I just gave up. One of the things he talks about that I think is really compelling is how dangerous to this work limiting beliefs can be. So if you think that it's about, oh, I come from too rural a place, or who am I, or I'm not worthy of this, or I had something great and gave it up, so I shouldn't even try to fix it now. All those limiting beliefs, first of all, who's putting them on you but you?
That is true. I think it's time for a famous quote from someone. Maz can't remember who said it.
Thank goodness I'm sitting.
Some very wise individual once said, and this has always stuck in my mind, especially after we started this weekend, it's worse to regret things you haven't done than something you did.
Yes. Yes. What are you out to try it? Can you bear to fail? Now, if your goal, and I think I've used this stupid example before, but if your goal is to walk between two skyscrapers and you've never high wire walked, probably you shouldn't do that. Probably that failure is not recoverable.
Small steps.
Small steps. And not on a wire. But the reality is almost everything that you want to do, from enjoying more dessert to stopping drinking and everything in between, you can take a small step towards it. You just can. If it's about getting over self-perception, if it's about forgiving someone, if it's about making a different physical, mental, emotional change in your life, if it's about moving, pursuing new opportunities, daring to articulate out loud what you want, take the first small step. I've been doing personal systems disruption work since September, so like half a year, a little bit more. I've already had a lot of failure with it, but guess what? I've also already had a lot of success with it. And I'm only gonna have more. So if you don't take the risk, you'll certainly never get the reward. And I almost can guarantee that you will not get to the end of your life and think, oh, thank goodness I played it safe and small. I don't believe that that's true. Thank goodness I didn't think I was worthy of getting sober. Thank goodness I didn't believe I deserved more dessert.
Yeah.
That's not true. You know it's not true. Because you've never been with anyone dying who has said, whew, so glad I spent all that time on email. or so glad I withheld love from my children, or so glad I saved all my money and never enjoyed any of it. No, nobody says that. So proactively decide how you want to get to the end of your life and make today the beginning of your past so that you do not have to regret it when you get to the end. Anything else?
That's very good. I think you've covered everything.
I'm super sorry about the terrible lighting.
It looks better when they see it.
It's not going to look better
It does.
today.
I bet you when you replay this, it's just going to look like an 80s supermodel.
Nothing to be done about it. It is what it is. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.